America's Grandpa. Hello, America's Grandpa. Says prayer requests asking for prayers for the Patriot that Rule 303 United, likely saving thousands of lives. It wasn't the last call. It was about the next call. We will pray for that person. I'll probably rewrite that prayer. That's a really interesting phenomenon that we're seeing. America's Grandpa's talking about, of course, talking about the murder of Brian Thompson. He was the CEO of UnitedHealthcare Group, and he was killed this week in New York City. Broad daylight. Well, I don't know if it was broad daylight, around 7 in the morning. I think the guy was on his way to a conference, from what I understand, on his way to work, and he was made unalive. Now, that's horrible. It's horrible because he's a human being, and his life was ended. Someone ended his life. I watched a video today where someone asked, "Didn't you cheer when when Osama bin Laden was killed?" And no, I didn't. If that had ended a war, maybe I would have felt differently about it, but it didn't. The war continued. That wasn't. I mean, it was a milestone moment. Here was a guy who orchestrated something really, really, really horrible. But I can't. I have a difficult time cheering for the death penalty. Is basically what it comes down to. But with this Brian Thompson thing, I'm fascinated by it for several reasons. And this wasn't a planned talk, so just bear with me. But one of the reasons I'm fascinated is he's a dude who was killed in New York City, who was shot in the morning in New York City. If he wasn't a CEO, would we know his name? Right? If he was a hot dog vendor, would we know his name? If he was unemployed, would we know his name? If he was a migrant, would we know his name? If he was undocumented, would we know his name? If he was a university student, would we know his name? If he was a doctor, would we know? I mean, why do we know his name? Right? Why is it that this is a nationally known case? How many other murders in New York City this week are known right across the country? Internationally. I'm in Canada and I'm hearing about it. So how many of those other people who were murdered are getting this attention? How many of the people that were murdered? And I hope I'm just being really cynical when I say this, but how many of those people who were killed in New York City this week, or in Chicago, or in Miami, or in LA, or wherever, how many of them are how many of those cases are having the resources thrown at it that Brian Thompson's case is having thrown at it? It's one of the things that I'm really fascinated by. Again, I hope I'm just being super cynical, and that, nope, everybody is treated exactly the same. Every case is treated exactly the same. We got our best people on every single one of these cases. We're pouring resources into every single one of these cases. I really hope that's the case, but I'm wondering. But I do know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I don't know any details on anybody else who was killed anywhere in Canada or the United States this week. I don't know anybody else. I don't know the details like I know the details of this particular case. That's the first thing that I'm fascinated by. The second thing I'm fascinated by is the response. The response from the public. There are people who are making all kinds of jokes about this. There are people who are sharing all kinds of vitriol about this, right? I am really fascinated. I'm really fascinated because he sort of, this is someone's son, right? This is someone's son. And this is, someone, I don't know, maybe someone's father, maybe someone's husband, someone's partner. This is someone's friend. But because of his job and because of how he did his job, and one of the things that I had heard was that he brought in an AI that denied claims. You'd want to check on that yourself. It's something that I read, so please don't take it as gospel. Just check on it yourself. But he brought in artificial intelligence, a program that would basically deny claims and make people argue their case, right? The bullet casings that were found at the crime scene apparently had deny, defend, and depose, which was actually the name of a book, I think, as well. I might be confusing it with the book. But basically, this is how healthcare insurance companies work, or health insurance companies work. Let's take care out of that. How health insurance companies work. We're going to deny your claim. We're going to defend our decision when you challenge us. And we're going to make you take us to court because it's the cheapest way forward for us. And most won't, right? Most won't take us to court. We'll be able to defend it, and you'll give up. So again, I'm really fascinated by how the public is reacting to his murder. Someone said today on something I was watching, it said, this is the end. This is evidence of the end of America's empathy. I don't know about that. But yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are really upset with health insurance companies and are having a good laugh over this guy's death and are willing to say good riddance. You don't see this very often. You don't see this very often in the public square. Anyhow, the whole thing is, I was thinking about, I could do a video on it, and we don't take the low road. Don't take the low road. And I would, don't get down in the dirt. It's no good. But in the same breath, we can't just simply dismiss what people are saying. We can't simply dismiss, not necessarily what they're saying. We can't dismiss the feelings and the experiences that people have had dealing with this industry that lead them to say the things that they're saying and lead them to feel the things that they're feeling and lead them to telling the jokes that they're telling. We can't dismiss that. Only a fool dismisses an opportunity to ask why something like this response is taking place. The wise would look at this. I love what somebody said the other day in the comments. The wise ask why. But the wise people would say, why are you telling these jokes? What was your experience with the health insurance industry? What's your experience been like? Why is it that you're affected in this way? Why is it that you have no empathy for this person? And I know the simple thing would be say, well, he was a millionaire and he did this and he did this. And what was it? Someone, again, I've been watching a lot of different things about this particular case. And one person said that this man, as CEO, has killed more people by denying their coverage, denying their claims over and over and over again than any serial killer. And I want to say someone even said he was responsible as the CEO. I'm not necessarily saying he was the one that signed off on all of this, but while he was CEO, more people died who were insured by his company because they couldn't get treatment than died at 9/11. Again, don't take this as gospel. This is just these different things that I heard all day today. But in there, you hear the facts might be off, but the truth is there. The facts may be off, but the truth is there. And health insurance companies are perceived as useless, worse than useless. They're being perceived as a scam. They're not being seen as caregivers. Profits are the thing that matter. Profits are the thing that matter to these companies. That's how they gauge their success. That's how they determine whether or not this was a good year. It's not based on, hey, you know what, this year, 97% of our clients survived. Like that'd be an interesting thing. This year, of all the clients who filed claims, of all the clients who got care through us, through our insurance company, all the clients who got treated, who received treatment, 97% of them survived their illness. 97% of them survived their accident. 97% of them survived their injuries. 97% of them survived the disease that impacted them. Like that'd be an interesting way of determining whether or not your health insurance company is successful. But the public, what we see is that these guys only care about profit. They only care about how many billions of dollars they can earn this year. And when you have a for-profit health industry, well, again, how many times have we said these words? You can't serve two masters. You can't. You cannot serve mammon and God. You cannot serve mammon, money, and people. You can't. Your priority can't be to make the most possible money and keep people alive, because keeping people alive costs money. I'm not going to take, what some might say is the low road. I'm not going to give thanks that this person is gone. I'm not going to. I'm going to lament for him. I feel bad for his family. People who are left behind now have to pick up the pieces, and I can't imagine what that's like. But I also understand. I think I'm coming to understand from listening to really angry people talk about their experiences with the health insurance industry. I'm gaining a deeper and deeper and deeper understanding of how utterly betrayed the clients feel. We would, again, it's one of those things, we would be very wise as societies. We would be very wise. I have health insurance here in Canada. Yes, we have universal healthcare, but I still, because of my job, I have coverage that takes care of certain things. And we would be very wise, I think, as nations, as communities, as societies, to ask ourselves what the reaction from people is telling us about what people have gone through. This is a horrible moment. It's an absolute tragedy for the Thompson family, but there's a reason why people are reacting and responding the way they are. Do not look that gift horse in the mouth. Figure it out. And then apply what you learn, right? That would be the smart thing. Whether we do it, I don't know. My guess is no. We won't. We'll just simply, oh, I can't believe you're making that joke, and I can't believe you're saying those things. Which is probably why nothing will change, because you can't believe it. You can't process it. You aren't interested in understanding why people have zero empathy in this situation. Amen.